Hi guys, hope you all are doing well and are enjoying the market, right? And had a fantastic day. But like as always, pause it, read every single word till the end. And we are a SEBI registered research analyst, right? I said fantastic because this is exactly what we analyzed, and the market, is doing precisely that, right? But before we get into the details, I wanted to share today some of the offerings because I do keep getting questions, right? So number one is the training that we offer, right? Everything is in the website. So if you click on this training link, this will take you to the training link, right? Where you can understand what we cover, how we cover, and all the details. It is very very important for you to watch this video because this will help you not only understand what we train, the most important how we train it, right? Because I don't think we offer training like anyone else in the market, and I can proudly say that because of how and the methodology of what we train, right? So that's number one. And if you're interested, drop us an email and I'll be more than happy to give you a call and discuss it out, right? That's one. Second is our recommendation services, right? So, we do offer recommendation services under SEBI's guideline. And, we do offer both option buying and selling in one single package, right? We don't have two different offerings, and we adapt depending on how the market changes, right? For example, in the last 3 months, we've not done option selling because the VIX is low, so we adapt. Some were asking, sir, I have a capital of 2 lakhs. Can I opt for this recommendation services? The answer is no, because I think the recommendation is based on the capital of 5 to 10 lakhs, and at times we also adjust when it comes to option selling. So if you have a low capital, I would recommend you not to join because not that we're selling aggressively lately, but if at all a need arises, we want that capital to be available for any adjustment, right? And I said we adapt. So that's recommendation. And then third is a community that we had launched for full-time traders, right? I see some of you who've registered, you're not able to show up for obvious reasons, right? Because you're at work, you're not able to join, give time. So this community is only for full-time traders, right? And the details once again is embedded in here. And then we also have the YouTube join button, right? Which is where I post some of the intraday, posts. And I also, come up with the Q&A sessions. So if you're interested, I think you should absolutely look at that, right? So you get access to some of the contents that I post there, which are exclusively for the members, right? For example, this post in here, members only during the markets, and we also have quite a lot of we spoke about the Elliott Wave. What I analyze here, you get a bit early, right? I also posted the golden Fib support, blah blah. So quite valuable insights that you get there, but this is just limited to charts, right? So this is something that I wanted to cover. So please spend some time. Everything is on the website, and if you don't get the answer for the question, or if your question does not have an answer on my website, drop us an email and I'll be more than happy to answer that, right? And maybe also have a chat, right? Excellent. So now let's get into the analysis and what we had discussed yesterday, right? So let me pull up the thumbnail, and I think more than that, it is very very important for you to watch yesterday's analysis, because I think every single word that I mentioned yesterday is what evolved today. And I think that's something which uh, was very valuable, because I share what I trade and I trade what I share, right? So that's very very important, right? So this is what we shared. So if I look at the thumbnail in here, I said I'm not bearish as yet, right? So if you pay attention and read between the lines, you'll understand a possible C down south, and then we'll look for a buy opportunity, and I will be bullish about 25 655. So we caught this low today, one of the best opportunities that we had, because I keep saying planning is 80%, right? And trading is executing that. Planning is 80%, waiting is 19%, and then 1% is where your trade comes in, right? So this is what we were looking at. This was on Nifty, so let me pull Nifty's chart. I've been lately more inclined towards Bank Nifty, right? This is what we saw, and Nifty beautifully got supported this golden fib, right? Something that we dissect in our training, and you end up plotting 100 charts to learn just the RSI and Fibonacci, right? So I think trading is one of the finest opportunities, and the market is still open, right? So beautiful. Do comment how many of you caught that. Excellent. So with that said, the market is yet to close, and it continues only to go higher. So if we take a step back, beautiful day. Three white horses, right? Yesterday we said it's a bullish candle. A lot of people think this to be a rejection and end up shorting, but the market, is doing higher high, and today is no different, right? Solid candle is what we see in here. Volumes, respectable volumes. RSI is curling up. So Nifty daytime is turning out to be bullish, right? And precisely what we spoke about yesterday, right? We said this is going to be a very, very important zone, right? So yeah, fantastic. So there's no reason to be bearish, right? That's the message we get here on daily and also on the hourly. Habits die hard. I tell not to look at hourly, because 75 minutes and 45 minutes includes uh, the entire time from 9:15 to 3:30, right? Because if you're using an hourly candle, the last candle is just the last 15 minutes, right? Look at that solid day, right? And yeah, no reason to be bearish. Moving on to options data, this is something that is only getting to be more interesting, because at one point of time we had more calls written than puts, and the story has turned around, right? So if I look at the overall puts, 3.28 crores to short covering of call writers by 50 lakhs, right? So change in OI is clearly bullish, right? We had 25,650 massive writing, which is now acting as a support, and then resistance is at 25,700, which is also where the market is closing, right? So depending on the opening, if it opens gap up by 100 points, these guys are going to run like a mad donkey, trying to cover the positions, which will only enable more further short covering, which will take the markets higher, right? So today is 11th. That was the expiry special, right? So looking at next weeks, I'm sorry about that. Often tend to, because for me expiry doesn't exist. I only, if I buy options, I only buy monthly options, right? At times I also buy the far monthly option. For example, in Bank Nifty, I'm trading on December end strikes on the options buying. So I often tend to forget the expiry, right? Thursday is what is still in my mind. So 18th November for next week, clearly 25,700 is a support, which is where the market is trading at. The markets have eventually closed. So you know, price is options data is also bullish. I think this is respectable numbers, and tomorrow's first hour is going to be very, very interesting. So change in OI is supporting bullishness. The overall open OI, 3 crores, not bad, is having a resistance at 25,700, right? And then 25,800. The biggest resistance is at 26,000, which is pretty, alarming, because this tells, there's a story behind it, because the call writers are not very confident to hold or protect any of these levels. So they are conveniently writing at 26,000, which is in here, right? So that 26,000 is only telling me the fear that the call writers have, um, for the coming weeks, right? Excellent. So I think price is bullish. Options data, while the data is not complete, or the size is not complete. Let me put it in that way. But the change in OI is bullish, and overall open OI I think is neutral. But tomorrow's opening is going to be a very very important thing to happen. And if I were to summarize, I wouldn't be surprised if we do a gap up tomorrow, and not a small one, but a larger gap, right? So that's that. Moving on to Elliott Wave, this is where things are getting very, very interesting. If you haven't watched the long-term analysis, please go and watch it, because this is what we shared and nothing new to what was shared yesterday, right? So if I jump into 15 minutes, this is what we had. I think which it continues to be the way it is, right? Remember always, Elliott Wave is subjective, right? One may mark this as an ABC and or a WXY. I'm saying this because I had a comment. At the end of the day, they both are right and they both can be wrong. It depends on how you label it and what is your conviction in it. And so I'm going with this as an impulsive wave now, even more because of this golden fib retracement, right? So this we were discussing in our community. This can be labeled in 10 different ways, right? But I'm going to keep this as WXY, or an ABC. Either or is absolutely fine, right? Once again, subjective. So given that this is a wave one that is over two, and then we're unfolding three up, right? So um, now combining all of that, the conviction of a gap up only increases, right? The possibility of a gap up only increases for tomorrow, right? And if it is wave three, where to project and what the targets would be, right? Specifically for the students, right? And I think this was a very interesting discussion that we had yesterday. I hope you all had the opportunity to catch it, because this is not a small trade, right? Look at Nifty. We're talking about 260 odd points on Nifty spot, right? Moving on to Bank Nifty, which is what I've been more interested in lately, hoping it to perform better than Nifty, but it is not as strong as Nifty, and I'll tell you why. If you look at the retracement here, Nifty retraced 60% that we saw, right? But if I look at Bank Nifty has retraced only 50%, right? And the only logic there is shallow the retracement, stronger the trend is, right? So that was one of the reasons why I've been looking at Bank Nifty and also trading, right? So price, absolutely no reason. Volumes not as good as Nifty, but this is a very strong close. While I understand there's elections, um, the results will be out, which is exit polls. Yeah, I was trying to recall that name, but price is telling us something, right? And typically the market digests the events in well ahead of time, right? Markets don't wait for an event to come; it digests much earlier. And when we all retailers wake up, they take advantage of that for their own liquidity, right? So price is bullish, no reason there to be bearish. And then the open interest, and if you recall, we've been talking about those secret put writings in Bank Nifty for a while now, and why it is important for you to watch the previous day's analysis. Look at this now, 55,800. God knows who wrote those 41k puts at 58,880, while the volumes are very low, blah blah, right? And 5800 is a support, and 58. So this is a very interesting range. And if you recall, we also spoke about the volatility yesterday on Nifty, right? And this is no masala, no edit, analysis that we do. So I'm going to continue to look for any buying opportunities on the dip. I hope it gives us an opportunity, because on Nifty it is right in here, and on Bank Nifty, this there's still a long way to go. Let me also look at this retracement from here. This is also at 50% on Nifty, and this on Bank Nifty had was shallower, right? So Elliott Wave on Bank Nifty, nothing different, guys, right? We're talking about a similar pattern in here. This is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 and 5 in here, right? So no rocket science for the students in here. Beautiful setup. This is a classic one. And then, we're unfolding wave 3, right? So on Nifty, the next target that I would be looking at is 2603. Hold on. Let me see more reasonable target in here. No, I think 25,779 is something that I wouldn't be surprised. And then 25,870. These are the targets that I would be looking for tomorrow, right? Do comment your thoughts, and if you like what we're doing, hit that like button, comment, and click on that hype button, right? You all know YouTube now has a hype button, and if you're serious enough and want to invest on your learning, do look at the training. I keep hearing people making losses, which is much higher than the money that you spend on your knowledge. So, right, so stop wasting or giving the money to the market, and invest in your own development. So guys, that is all I had. Have a great rest of the day. Cheers. Bye now.